So my question to you guys is, all of these flaws that, you know, we typically would call flaws, do you believe it's overall a good thing that that people are seeing this and being like, because this is the thing, man. It's interesting. I was talking to my girlfriend. I was talking to my girlfriend, and she has this friend who was like, "Oh, I've never worn a swimsuit before. I'm a little bit
It's a big thing for women, yeah, for sure.
It's a big thing for women." And when Sam was showing me like what this girl looked like, I'm like, holy shit, she's worried about wearing a swimsuit, because like she was quite skinny, and like even when she showed like how she looked, her front, like she had this line, like there's a level of insecurity that people have when they have to wear more revealing clothing. Every woman's gonna have, right? So I think that there's an aspect of this showing like, okay, there are certain flaws when you wear swimsuits, because most of the swimsuit covers up until this point, God, these girls all look like 10s. Yeah. And if you don't look like that, you're then like, well, I don't look like that, I might as well not wear a swimsuit. But seeing,
yeah, and what if you're like a little bigger and you don't have boobs too? You know, it's like, well, now you're not filling out the top very well, right?
Yeah, and so there's so much of that. But even though this cover of Yumi, well, this cover is fucking amazing, but the cover of Yumi, it shows certain flaws. She still is pretty. Some people might not might not be super attracted to someone that is her size, but she's still very attractive. Do you guys think it's overall a good thing to show those flaws, or do you think Sports Illustrated is taking advantage of this to put this in front of us, so it's nefarious and it's not good?
I'm conflicted on that. Now, after you put it that way, yeah, I think it is good that they are showing somebody that's, we'll just say, not perfect like some of the other.
She does look like a model, though.
I know, right? So it was hard for me to even say that because she's freaking gorgeous, but
yeah, she's an entertainer. She's a model, a singer. She's been in she's 25 years old. She's been in the business for like a long time. So it's not like she's, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like they took a random person.
Yeah.
You know?
But again, just like even like the small minor details, like you see her bathing suit bottom, like it has multiple straps to avoid that, like that extra like hug on the hips there.
Yeah.
So like just small little things like that could have easily been altered and still maybe shown some of the flaws, I guess. I don't know. It's hard to... That's a good one, dude. I am conflicted because on one end I'm like, well, no, I think they emphasized some of the imperfections. I'll say, I keep saying that word even though she's perfect, but
I think we need more representation. I think
like you saying that word.
I think there needs to be like more. There needs to be more images. There needs to be like, because women, like my wife, she won't wear a bikini, like very, very rarely. I mean, maybe around me outside, but that's about it. And she looks amazing. But a lot of women, I think what they think is attractive, there's too many things stacked up. It's like, I got to have, you know, the big butt and I got to have the big boobs. And if I don't have those two things to fill things out, you know, and then on top of that, like you somehow have to have those things filled out, but then you have to have a small waist on top of everything else. And so I think people need to see more images. I'm not saying, again, this girl is like 5'10", 5'11".
Yeah.
So she's a taller girl. From what I found on the internet, she's like about 185 pounds, which might sound heavy to some people, but women that are, you know, and no, it's not that heavy. Anything, you know, whenever a woman's like above like 5'8", you know, their body weight is going to be, you know, heavier than what people are used to hearing when a girl's like 140 or whatever, 130. You know, and being in the space that we're in, you know, being in fitness and being, you know, in powerlifting, like I think we see a lot of girls that are like thicker, and we see a lot of girls lifting some big weights. We see, it's hard though too, because some of these women are still really beautiful. Like they're still really, really pretty. Someone like Meg Squat, she gets, you know, she had a baby, and then she lost some weight from there. But Meg is like, I think she represents a lot of women out there, even maybe women that are heavier than herself, because she doesn't mind, like, you know, she'll wear particular clothes that maybe aren't like overly flattering, but she'll do it on purpose and say like, hey, this is just kind of how I look. Again, she looks exceptional. Like there's a lot of girls that are that kind of fit this category. Charity Witt, like she lost a lot of weight and looks more modelly now, but in her quest to drop weight, it's hard to say she was a bigger girl because she wasn't.
She wasn't a bigger.
No,
Like
she wasn't. She was never huge. You know,
No.
she was never really big. But I think that it's healthy. I think it's healthy for people to kind of see these images, and then hopefully they start to get into conversations of how they can improve, how they can get better. Because let's face the facts, like everybody wants to look a little bit better. Everybody wants to do a little bit better. I believe that everybody wants to be a little bit better. And they need a path. They need a way. So if somebody is like showing them, hey, this is how I look, and I had to lose 40 pounds just to get to here, I think that's really cool. Or here's what I do to kind of maintain this. Or here's what I've been working on to get better. I don't like this pooch that I got. I don't like this fupa that I have. I don't like these love handles that I have. Whatever the thing is, maybe somebody's in the process of like working on these things. And also, maybe someone doesn't fucking care, and maybe they feel pretty good about that.
Mm-hmm. You know,
As long as it's not like wildly unhealthy,
yeah.
I think you're okay.
Guys, Sports Illustrated. I was looking through the covers for the years. I don't know what year they started having multiple cover options, but yo, Sports Illustrated gives people different covers to buy. It's like, you don't have to buy Yumi's cover. You could buy Maya's. You could buy Kim's. You could buy Ciara's. So the thing is, it's like they have different covers, and anybody can buy the cover that they like the most, right? But it kind of makes me think of the aspect where, you know, I have a friend who he's a bit shorter himself, and he just does not like taller women. He doesn't find them attractive. Like, he weighs a certain amount. I think he weighs like 160, 165.
Women are getting mad right now, but women have a thing about height too. So
Women do have a thing about height. And I want to also say to the guys, because there are a few guys where I'm like, I know where their head is right now. They're probably like, well, you know, guys have our struggles too, like height and weight. And yeah, I know that. But like our other episode before, this isn't about you. Okay, so let's skip over that.
that's the name of this one.
That's the name of this one. But, you know, whenever, you know, in our group chat, when I was single and when some of us were single, we were just, you know, we were throwing some things out there, and he was like, oh, that's nasty. Oh, this. I'm like, dog, you are just too small for them. Like, you're just too small for them, and that's okay. But the thing is like, when the thing that is like interesting about the Jordan Peterson comment again is the not beautiful. It's like, okay, Jordan, she's not beautiful to you, that's okay, but don't try to take that point of view, and it's cool if it's your belief, and morph it into saying just purely this individual is not a beautiful person. It's really, I guess, I think somewhat off character for Jordan Peterson, because, I mean, he's the guy that's all about free speech. He's the guy that's all about having really good just conversations about difficult topics that are quite uncomfortable, and I respect that aspect of him. But it's like, this for him was the hard no, and it's like, this isn't the hill to die on.
It's a stretch, right?
I think it's a bit of a stretch, and that's just my opinion, which we're all able to have. So I'm actually very curious about the opinions of people in our audience. Like, what do you guys think? Do you guys think this is that big of a deal? Do you think it's that big of a stretch to have this woman on the cover, one of 4 covers, or is it okay? I think it's fine. Fire Project family, I hope you guys are doing well today. I want to give you guys a quick piece of fitness equipment lifting history. The hip circle that you see before you is actually the first hip circle ever. All right, there were no booty bands before the hip circle, which is pretty interesting. That's why you see it in gyms like The Rock. We've seen Kim K using it on Instagram. It is the OG, but that's also why we have the slingshots, gangster wraps, knee sleeves, elbow sleeves, everything that you're going to need in the gym so that you can protect yourself before you wreck yourself. So, Andrew, you tell the people how to get it.
Yes, that's over at markbellslingshot.com, and at checkout, enter promo code PowerProject10 to save 10% off your entire order. Links to them down in the description, as well as the podcast show notes.
You know, and we talked a little bit about, from the male side, you know, how we don't really see, you know, that much from men, you know, where, you know, you got Bert Kreischer on the cover of something like that, you know, right?
I mentioned that to you because I saw somebody saying that having her on the cover of Sports Illustrated, if they can have her, then they can have Bert Kreischer on the cover of Sexiest Man Alive.
Right.
And it's a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, you're probably not going to really you're probably not going to really see that. But like, again, like, does somebody like Bert Kreischer, insert anybody, you know, that's a little heavier, do they have like 9,000 other characteristics that could be viewed as being very attractive to somebody? Probably. Like, and does Bert Kreischer ever have problems like, you know, I think he's married, but like, did he ever have problems like attracting people to him? Like, he's the life of the party, you know what I mean? Yeah. And so there's so many other attributes, and especially for men. And we had Rolo on the show, and like there's a lot more that kind of goes into into all that. So it's interesting, but a lot of times when guys have a like belly, or we've seen athletes in the past, Charles Barkley comes to mind. Charles Barkley, when he played, he was not fat. You know, Shaq, when he played, he wasn't fat. But like they had, you know, Shaq was kind of out of shape occasionally. Jerome Bettis comes to mind, the bus. Like we love those athletes. We're like, these fucking guys are, it somehow made them more relatable. That they had a little bit, because like all the dudes that are well, not all a lot of the guys are going to the games, they got a beer belly, and they're thinking like the bus is like me, you know, and they don't really realize like Jerome Bettis is like one of the greatest athletes of all time. Yeah, they don't really understand what a savage some of these people are, or like George Foreman, you know, with the Foreman griller and eating all the burgers, and and George Foreman. You know, he came back. George Foreman came back and won the fucking heavyweight championship after years of being in like hibernation. After he lost to Muhammad Ali, he never didn't fight again for like 20 years. And then he came back and decided he was going to do it. And he was kind of older, and he was fat. He was big and fat. And he would just stand in the corner. He wouldn't sit down. And the reason why he wouldn't sit down between rounds, he's like, I ain't getting back up. He's like, I'm old. He's like, if I sit down, he's like, I ain't getting back up. But he had a lot of support and a lot of people behind him. And he did a lot of, you know, he did a lot of like, I guess you'd say like marketing and stuff via talking about the Foreman griller and talking about how he eats and talking about how he liked being big, because it helped him to be strong. And so men kind of have like almost a whole different angle, I guess, to go about doing things. But we have a lot of crazy expectations to live up to too. When you think about the superhero movies and how jacked some of these guys are in some of their movie roles and stuff.
Yes. Yeah, I do understand that. You know, but quickly thinking, you know, when you were mentioning the representation thing, I feel like we should change that word, because it gets some people very triggered when we say representation.
I don't know what other word to use.
I don't know. We'll think about that later. But it reminds me of the video that we made before about the fat acceptance thing, when the woman was talking about how overweight people have typically been shown in media up until like more recently. They were typically the comic relief, the fat, the person who plays the fat role, like the
Chris
Seth
Farley,
Rogen, right? They're always the funny guy or the humorous person, right? And it is, you know, for some people who are slightly overweight or holding a little bit more body fat, because, you know, if you're holding a little bit more body fat, that's not, again, you're not running a crazy amount of health risks if you're not fucking shredded. You don't have to be shredded. But to be able to, I don't know, see an individual that's holding a little bit more body fat as a model because she is a beautiful woman, like, okay, like showing these types of people in different ways, it doesn't mean that we're trying to say that being extremely overweight is okay, because again, she's not extremely overweight. What we're trying to do is help people with their health. People that come from every single different level of size, whether you're extremely small and you have problems because you're very skinny and underweight, or if you're overweight. We're all just trying to get into better shape and live a healthy, fulfilled, fruitful lifestyle. And in media, it'd be more beneficial, and it is beneficial, that we're starting to see different people of different sizes shown in more positive lights and in a more positive light. Now, the superhero thing is a pretty complicated one, because when you look at comics, like fucking Goku, like when you look at all these characters, John Cena, they're jacked and shredded. So I wonder, like, I think that's Paul Rudd as Ant-Man, but he still had a six-pack when he was Ant-Man. I don't know. That's an interesting one, though.
Yeah, those guys are, they're almost always in shape for those movies, or they're in like some sort of suit that makes them look jacked.
There was M'Baku from Black Panther. He was like, M'Baku was
Was he the first one that challenged him?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's challenge day. But he had a little bit of a belly. He was just like a big burly guy, and he ends up being a good guy later.
Yeah.
Right. So there's a few, but I know what you mean by the superhero thing. It gives guys a lot of issues, especially when they're trying to reach a type of physique that is just wild.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or just the fitness people that we see. They're just in such good shape. I think people are, trying to be like some of these other people that are out there. And unfortunately, you can do and try everything that you want, and you're not going to be somebody else, no matter what you do.
Yeah.
You won't be somebody else, but there's something I think about, like when you think of really, really in shape fitness girls versus the models that you typically would see on old Sports Illustrated covers. A lot of those girls are really skinny, and I'm not saying it doesn't take work to be skinny, but it's not. It's like your genetic gifts allows you to be this thin. Women who are really fit, they've built some muscle, they have shape to them, their arms, their shoulders, their legs, everything. You can tell, like, God, this person put in work. You, myself, you, Andrew, like, we've trained to look this way. We've put in work to look this way. So when a lot of guys are like, I want to be jacked, it's like, you got to understand that does take work. There isn't necessarily a physical male equivalent that doesn't take work, right? Whereas the female equivalent of being really beautiful in the past was just starving yourself to get as skinny as you possibly could. So it's going to be interesting to see over time, will more fit, like in shape women get more spotlight in mainstream? Because I think that would actually be a very healthy thing. Because right now we're seeing bigger women getting a spotlight, but we haven't seen really in shape, like really jacked women that have some muscle, not jacked, but jacked women, getting that type of spotlight, which I think, because jacked guys get that spotlight, but the women don't.
Was it Wonder Woman? Right?
Gal Gadot, like she
was in pretty good shape, and then all the women that were on that island, like Brooke Ents
was one of them,
and there was a few others. What an amazing thing to wake up to! Like the guy's getting pulled out of the ocean, and he's like just coming around, and he's like, "Where the fuck am I?"
Yeah, that'd be sick.
But yeah, all those women are pretty jacked. I think it would be great. I mean, I think the woman that played the lead role in Terminator 2, that's kind of the closest that we've gotten to having somebody.
Like the bald one?
No. What's her name? I'll find it.
Forget. I mean, and she wasn't like yoked, but she looked incredible, especially during this one scene where she's like doing pull-ups. She's in like in an insane asylum or something like that. She's doing pull-ups and she looks
Linda
yoked.
Hamilton.
Linda Hamilton. Yeah, she looked incredible. But again, like that's not even still like, it's not even like fitness jacked like some of the girls that you see.
Hey, just wait till we get that She-Hulk, because She-Hulk is coming out for Marvel pretty soon. Now, when she's not She-Hulk, she's, she looks like just some chill.
Who's
small
playing
woman.
that role? Do you know?
Who's playing She-Hulk,
I'll look
Andrew?
it up. But like, so here is Linda Hamilton. So I mean, still right, but she was pretty jacked in the movie
For the time, and yeah,
Yeah,
like,
but she has some delts. Look at her arms.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like you could tell
pretty
she
lean though.
But it's crazy. Like that's probably about as far as we pushed it in terms of, I guess, on the Star Wars style movie.
Ray. Well, Ray isn't necessarily jacked.
What was the first? Fuck, I forget the names of everything.
Wait, Natalie Portman? Not Natalie.
No, not the movie. The
Mandalorian.
Mandalorian.
Gina Carano.
Gina Carano.
Oh yeah, God, why'd you gotta fuck that up, Gina?
She did it. They fucked
about,
it up.
Yeah, that's about as jacked as we've really seen.
Yeah.
There hasn't really been.
Yeah, I mean Ronda Rousey was on the cover of Sports Illustrated.
She was.
Yeah,
and if there's any fucking athlete, that's the athlete. You know what I mean?
That's a great step. I mean, that's a great step in the right direction. And how cool too that they put her in like a one piece. Like there's a lot of girls who are like, that's all I'm comfortable in.
It's actually just paint.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, snap.
So her whole shoot was just in body paint. So
she's naked.
Naked.
Hey,
I think for a while she was
hey,
she was like consistently just tapping people out left and right, in seconds flat. And then there was like that meme. They're like, I would only last 7 seconds with Ronda Rousey as well.
Oh man. But
Anyway,
I think guys, chime in.
Yeah.
I'm really curious what you guys think about all of this. Think about Jordan's response. Do you agree? Do you disagree? It'd be a good conversation, but let's keep it kind of chill. Pat Project family, we appreciate you checking out this clip. Check out another one. Just go check out another one, or comment down below and let us know what you liked about this one. But we love you guys, and we're gonna keep bringing you the heat. So comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Okay, peace.